So I've covered this topic in the past, but I decided to make another video and raise more awareness of about how powerful using the trade website is. Um, about 2 or 3 months ago, I made a video where I talked about how to use the trade website, how to set up trade filters, and why trade filters are essential to have a smoother league start. However, in this video, I want to give more example of how I would use the trade website after post league start. So trade website is not something that you can it's not a strategy per se that you can use to make currency 24/7, but it's good to have the trade filters set up so that from time to time you will come across good bargains uh, and you can make some quick cash. An example of that would be an amulet that I crafted. So if you look at this amulet, basically um, it had 3 suffixes and another prefix. It didn't have the +1 fire, but it did have the +1 all skill gems, 26 damage over time multiplier. However, it had only one empty prefix and 3 suffixes. So what I did, I just bought the item. I paid 2 divines for the item, and then I used a Norb of augmentation. No, an Norb of annulment, and I got lucky and I removed one of the bad suffixes. So I had 2 chances here. Either I remove one of the 2 bad suffixes, or I remove one of the bad prefixes. Now I got lucky. I removed one suffix. Thankfully, it was not damage over time multiplier. Then what I did next, I just went and crafted cannot roll attack modes, and then I bought a sacred crystallized life force. I bought purple juice, and then I augmented fire, and that was basically it. My total investment was about 5 divines, give or take a few chaos, and this amulet, if it will not sell for 20 divines, for 17 divines for sure it will sell, guaranteed. So there's a 12 divines profit for just about 2 or 3 minutes of work, and this could not have happened if I didn't have the trade filter and if I didn't refresh the website from time to time. So to craft an amulet like this, for example, I have videos on my channel, but usually it requires you to have a base, a fractured base like this. You spam about 3000 alterations, you get the +1 all, then you use a regal and an exalted orb and a craft, and you end up with this amulet, but with an amulet similar to this one. However, you don't have, first of all, you don't have 26% damage over time multiplier, and on top of that, you you also have to spend a lot of time spamming 3000 alteration, and also you're going to pay about 3 divines for the base. So it's also more expensive and it also takes much more time. Yes, it's more deterministic than buying this, because I could have ruined this base. I could have paid 2 divines and I had a 40% chance to get rid either of the +1 all or the damage over time multiplier. I understand that there is some risk involved with this strategy, but overall, if you do some calculations and are you willing to take some risks, this is going to be profitable. I'm going to give you another example of how I would use this. So for lightning arrow, they use the amethyst ring with triple attributes. When you're buying items like this, you have to make sure that they're not mirrored or corrupted, because you cannot modify them further. So usually you look at rings like this and you are going to make a bookmark and either activate the live search or just refresh from time to time. You just have it bookmarked and refresh from time to time. So sometime you are going to come across some items at the moment there is not a single one on the market. But usually they appear from time to time. That's why I said this is not a strategy that you can do 24/7. This is something that um, from time to time you're just going to get lucky and you're going to buy some good items. But basically, what it would look like, it would be a ring that has I mean, double T1 on the suffixes and T0 on an essence mode, or maybe it has triple T1 and maybe has an empty or a crafted prefix. Or if it does not have an empty or a crafted prefix, you can just gamble and use an orb of annulment, and maybe you make something good. And then you just use the Bristol Matron, and suffixes can be changed to Chaos Orb, and 75% chance to give you 60 maximum life, and then it's a high chance that you have a slot for non-channeling skills have -7, and that a ring like that uh, sells for about 9 divines. In about 2 or 3 days, you are going to sell a ring like that for 9 divines. So this is what it should look like. And you can see, to craft a ring like this, you would start with a fracture, um, with an attribute fracture. But if you buy if you buy a base with a fracture like this, it's going to cost you about 4 to 5 divines to buy a base with a fracture like this. But sometimes you're just going to come across a ring. Maybe it has 3 prefixes and you have to use an orb of annulment. Um, but sometimes you just come across rings that look like this. So this guy right here, if the item had double T1 and had a much higher roll, you could just remove the crafted mod. Craft suffixes cannot be changed with Wild Bristol Matron and then a Veld Chaos Orb. So that's how I would use this to craft. Obviously, you can use the trade website to snipe items for cheap, like high roll uniques, or maybe uh, cluster jewels that people don't know how to price, or maybe the unique jewels uh, that people don't have no idea how to price them. But I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about buying good items, or already crafted to some degree, to some extent, items that are crafted to some extent. Another example would be, let's just show you some boots. So if we type boots and you type chaos resistance, let's just say that it has 31 or higher, spell suppression, 13 or higher, and also has elemental resistance. Let's just say that it has 45 or higher. And you look at a pair of boots um, like this one. So what you can do with this pair of boots, I would just do this. I buy this, and then I'll show you with Craft of Exile. So create new item, text int. So what pair of boots are these? Cardinal. So this guy has the Chaos Rest Tier 1, Spell Suppression, and also has a Resistance Tier 1. Yes, so it looks like this. Now, the cool thing about this is you can just use Eldritch Currency, and you can use uh, I think this is the one that keeps the suffixes. Yes, so if it's exact dominated, it will reroll the prefixes. If it's the other one, if it's the I don't know, I forgot this name. But if it's the green one, it will reroll the suffixes. So basically you just spam Eldritch Chaos Orb, it will keep the prefixes, and until you hit a good tire of maximum life or movement speed, and at that point you are just going to craft either whatever is lacking, either movement speed or maximum life. These are about 20 to 30 chaos each, so you are going to invest something. I would also look into using Exalted Orb of Annulment because these are cheap. Um, Obviously, if there is no movement speed or life available. So look, guys, I spent, I don't know. Let's just say that I spent probably one divine using Chaos Orbs, Veiled Chaos Orbs. At this point, I would use I would block I would block movement speed from the bench. I would craft movement speed here. Crafted like this, and then I would use an Exalted Orb. And if you check for a pair of boots that has maximum life, let's just say 75, and movement speed 24 or higher, boom, look at these. You see, this is what I'm talking about. This is how you use this for crafting. Obviously you can do some other things like basically stealing from other people that don't know how to price items, but I'm not talking about that. It's just about crafting. So this is all I had for this video. I hope you find this useful. This is something that I usually use a lot because it's so powerful. As you've seen in this example, I spent about 2 or 3 minutes, maybe five, at most 5 minutes, to get this amulet, and it's going to be at least 12 divines profit.